Folks, we got an ultra good show for you today. Ben Shapiro has full-on Hasan derangement syndrome. He also tries to debunk the fact that God is non-binary, but it's just factually sound. We'll go over that. The Israel-Lebanon ceasefire gets extended, but it was never real. Israel's idea of a ceasefire is you cease, we fire. Then we got the SPLC being indicted. The DOJ is also going after 5 other individuals and or groups. Spoiler alert, they're all enemies of Trump. We'll be talking about that. And we also got the Palantir Manifesto point by point. These people are fucking psychos. Let's get into the show.
You may have heard of Hasan Piker. There are about 1,000 New York Times profiles of this guy. He's associated with pretty much all the major left-wing Democrats. He's a podcaster, of course. He's a Twitch streamer. He's also monstrously evil. He advocates publicly in favor of hatred of America. There's not a terrorist group, an anti-American, anti-Israel terrorist group he doesn't support. He has advocated for violence against his opponents, and the mainstream left loves him.
Increasingly mainstreamed by the Democratic Party. This only works if your viewers only watch you. Because that's simply not true. I watched a video from the Bulwark the other day, a clip where this lady was shitting and pissing and kicking and screaming over Hasan's comments in the past. Like, just type in Hasan Piker and look for articles. There's like 50 mainstream Democratic centrist articles slamming him. It's not true. Like, Hasan is not being mainstreamed. The only thing that's mainstreaming him is you guys not shutting the fuck up about him ever. Okay?
I think that's because they think that he is bro-coded, meaning that he works out a lot and he speaks the way that your friends from high school might after they read the Communist Manifesto and smoked a little bit of pot. Also, he zaps his dog. Also, he's a socialist who is really, really, really rich. So again, hypocrisy does not matter to these folks, not one iota.
Only you and the rest of the Republican Party are people who care about this, by the way. You don't even know what communism is. You think that communism is when everybody's poor because we sanction the shit out of communist countries into the point where they collapse. That's what you think communism is. Communism is when no iPhone. Communism is when no house, and we'll get on to that. He goes through Hasan's entire wardrobe. Every room in Hasan's house.
When you speak of limousine liberals, this dude is a mansion Marxist. He is not a limousine liberal. He's a mansion Marxist. How much money is he? I mean, he's worth millions and millions of dollars is the answer to that particular question.
He's live like 8 hours a day, like pretty much every day, and has a huge audience. Why would he not make money? Why does that make you upset, Ben? Is your show dying? I think your show's dying.
According to the Washington Post, there was a massive Twitch hack some years ago in 2021, and it found that since 2019, between 2019 and 2021, he'd been paid almost $3 million from his streaming on Twitch.
According to Social Blade, by the way, Ben Shapiro has been losing about 20,000 subscribers every single month. Every single month. That's why he's mad about this. It's like, how is this socialist rich and hot? I'm so pissed. You're telling me his audience actually likes to watch him? God. You're telling me he goes live 8 hours a day every single day and makes $3 million? I wish I had $3 million and not these bushy-ass eyebrows. Gosh. Gosh, Louash. Jeez Louise.
And of course, he has a really terrific mansion in Los Angeles. He purchased it in 2021 for a little under $3 million, apparently. I mean, look, that's a nice place. That is a nice place. Apparently, it's about 3,800 square feet in Brentwood, I believe. Somewhere in the nicer area of LA.
Look at this closet. It's huge. There's tons of space for activities. You're a weirdo. You're the only Republicans can farm outrage by being like, look at this socialist who's rich. Socialism isn't when everybody's poor. Socialism is when everybody has the bag. Socialism is when everybody has their needs met. Go on. Define socialism. What's socialism in Latin? What's crybaby in Latin? What's bushy eyebrows in Latin? Ben? Any answers for me?
And of course, he is also willing to travel to Cuba, a communist hellhole, where the average annual income is something like $150. He's happy to travel there to party it up and explain why he should have air conditioning in his nice 5-star hotel, but everyone else is just enjoying the weather outside, having a great time.
Do you know why Cuba's in the state that it's in, Ben? Do you know why? No, you don't, because you have nothing to offer as a political commentator. All you have is evil Democrats, and Hasan Piker is bad, and How can socialists be rich? You have nothing. You know Cuba's in that state because of sanctions that we imposed on them? You either did know that, or you're trying to play ignorant so that your audience doesn't catch on to like, America's like doing a lot of bad stuff. What's up with that, Ben? Nope, he's just playing his little imperialist foot soldier role and going up here and doing propaganda. Cool, man.
His outfits that he was wearing around over there, well, it turns out that they were costing maybe 4 times the annual income of a normal Cuban. $690 shirt from a brand called Glass Cypress. Hideous shirt, by the way. Really, truly ugly. And also, in that same image, he is wearing a ring from Cartier that costs $1,480. And he is also wearing Cartier sunglasses that cost $1,300. Remember, folks, he is a good Marxist.
Why are we going through every room in Hasan's house? Why are we going through Hasan's wardrobe? And who are you to criticize anybody's wardrobe? You look like the Pixies from fucking Fairly Odd Parents. Like, why are you dressed like the Pixies, unironically, from Fairly Odd Parents? Like, you're so weird, man. And you're criticizing his house, and how could a socialist have a big house? How could a socialist have clothes like this? How could a socialist have a ring from Cartier and sunglasses? Not everybody likes to dress like a fucking brick wall, Ben. No mention of the fact that he was a part of a convoy who went to Cuba to deliver 20 tons of food, medicine, and solar panels to help with fuel shortages from the U.S. blockade. No mention of that. We just want to go, look at his clothes. They're hideous and he's rich and what the hell is this? Please offer any substance or you will continue to bleed 20,000 subscribers every single month. That's just what it is. I just hit my guitar. How can a socialist have a guitar? Don't you know Les Paul?
And he represents certain principles on the far left wing. That America is evil, that private property is inherently bad, that violence is often justified, and as a sort of self-defense mechanism so he can do whatever the hell he wants, no principles of morality must be adhered to as long as you're fighting the system. It turns out that not only do the ends of Marxist anarchism justify the means, they justify literally any behavior so long as you are aligned with the ends. So you can have a really nice mansion, you can wear a $1,400 Cartier ring and $1,300 Cartier sunglasses in Cuba with all of the poors, so long as you say that you are in favor of communism.
Yep. Anybody can wear any clothes that they want. That is how it goes. No matter your political affiliation. Clearly, you're here dressed like a pixie from Fairly Odd Parents. Like, that's how it goes. He's a Marxist who has clothes and a house. Ooh! And he accidentally slips here. I don't even know if it was really an accident. And reveals how he feels about Cubans. Go to Cuba with the poors. Go to Cuba with the poors. No mention of the 20 tons of food, the medicine, the solar panels. No mention of that. You're a hack. You got nothing.
The New York Times are trying to turn Hasan Piker into a totally mainstream figure, and inside the Democratic Party, they are succeeding. But what we're watching right now with the Democratic Party is beyond woke. Remember, the idea that intersectional wokeism was the way of the future for Democrats, that's not quite where we are. We are well beyond it. When people on the right say woke is dead, woke may have died, but it's been replaced by something else. And that is something older. Third worldism. Third worldism is the philosophy that basically every country on earth that is poor because of the West, that the solution to that is to tear down the West from the inside, that global redistributionism, destruction of private property, and violence are all justified by the evils of the Western system.
You're just talking about objective truths. Imperialism has caused great pain, whether it be United States imperialism, British imperialism, or Israeli imperialism, has caused great pain across the world. Stealing resources, that's what they do. You're just talking about objective truths and going, this is what they believe. It's ridiculous. You're still offering nothing. Okay? You're still offering nothing. Offer a criticism of it. An actual criticism. Disprove it. Debunk it. Do anything other than sitting there looking like a fun-sucking pixie.
But he has now done an interview with the New York Times in which he was interviewed by one Gia Tolentino and one Nadia Spiegelman. And there, he talked about stealing. He explained that he fully endorses cool crimes like robbing banks and stealing artifacts. That's cool. The crime is cool.
You are quite literally the biggest dweeb in the world. Crime is cool now. That's cool. Crime is cool now. In a past life, he was definitely standing on a corner in England and going, have you heard about this Robin Hood guy? He thinks it's okay to commit crimes against the Sheriff of Nottingham. He thinks that it's cool to steal and give it to the people. He thinks that it's cool. This is really bad, folks. These evil bandits. You're so stupid. Let's watch a clip of this truly despicable piece of shit. Robin of let's check out a video of this true piece of shit. Robin of Nottingham. Robin of Sherwood. Sherwood.
Here is this truly despicable piece of shit.
Would you steal from the Louvre?
Yes.
I would not be logistically capable of executing such a fact, but would I cheer on every news story of people that I see doing it? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's cool. We gotta get back to cool crimes like that. Like, bank robberies, right? Stealing priceless artifacts, things of that nature. I feel like that's way cooler than the 7,000th new cryptocurrency scheme that people are engaging in.
What a despicable human being.
What a despicable human being. I'm just going to slide past that because the president that I defend rug pulled his supporters with the Melania coin and the Trump coin. I'm just going to slide past that and just say that he's a despicable human being. I have nothing to back it up. I have nothing but contradictions and hypocrisy. Let's move on.
He also went on to suggest that you should steal from corporations. In fact, your stealing is factored into their bottom line. And they have a breakage policy, so you should just be the breakage policy, says Hasan Piker. I mean, when you actively advocate for violations of basic 10 Commandments type stuff, like thou shalt not steal, no, you should steal because truly the corporations are stealing from you.
He's now advocating for, just basic 10 Commandments stuff. You care about the 10 Commandments, Ben? Okay. We'll come back to that, because I know that you mentioned this a couple times. We'll come back to that. Gonna offer any criticism against social violence, against social murder, against social theft? You gonna offer any criticism whatsoever? No? Didn't think so. Just move past it. Next clip. Because he can't dispute the fact that these corporations do steal from you. That they do take part in wage theft. That they do take part in social murder. You can't dispute that. Next clip.
You should do violence because they're doing social violence to you. Here was Hasan Piker saying he is pro-stealing.
I'm pro stealing from big corporations because, they steal quite a bit more from their own workers. However, one thing that might even help your ethical dilemma is the fact that the automated process that they design, these companies know will increase shrink, right? So it's actually factored in. The lemons that you stole are factored into the bottom line of these mega corporations regardless, and they still end up having increased profit margins because they no longer have to pay the cashiers that they used to hire as opposed to this automated system, knowing full well that people are still going to be able to still steal a lot more efficiently, as a matter of fact, through the automated process.
So because you go to Target and there's an automated checkout counter, you should steal because they know you're going to do it. So stealing is now okay. In fact, it's good. It's an active good for you to steal. Of course, he then says he would not suggest stealing from taxpayer-funded grocery stores in New York City because their workers would be unionized. They're on the right side of his political divide. By the way, his fandom of theft goes beyond that. He was asked specifically, what's one thing he should be okay? And he said intellectual property theft, which is quite, again, it's despicable.
We got Ben Protect the Capitol Shapiro sitting here losing his fucking mind. Intellectual property theft? How dare you? You wouldn't download a car? Would you? You would? You're disgusting.
This is just despicable stuff. And the fact that this person is being mainstreamed by the Democratic Party, and he is being totally mainstreamed by the Democratic Party, shows you what the Democratic Party has become, a full-scale destructive force in American life. You've mainstreamed this nonsense. You are standing in favor. It is an evil. Stealing from people is evil.
No, silly Ben. Not stealing from people. Stealing from corporations who steal from you on the daily. Yeah, these corporations that are practicing modular pricing or whatever it's called, where if you're in a nicer part of town, they can charge more. If you've, they got your data and everything. They know what you'll pay for this. They're going to charge you more. Corporations aren't people, Benny Ben. No, they're not. I don't care how much Citizens United tells you that corporations are people. They are not. And he's also not being mainstreamed by the Democratic Party. We've already gone over this. He does the classic Republican GOP, like, lie until it becomes the truth. He's not being mainstream. It takes one Google search to figure that out. But he should be. The Democrats have the Democrats are controlled opposition. They should be moving left to actually meet Hasan's opinions. Then they'd get votes. Then they'd win. Then people would see that, hey, we have a party that is actually a workers' party. We have a party that actually cares about the only majority in the United States, which is the working class. They would slam dunk prime FDR numbers every single time. Move left. Watch how much you win.
You should not. The fact that we have to say this, the fact that we have to say that a corporation charging you for a product at a price that you wish to pay.
You wish to pay? That's strong. That's really, really strong. You're assuming a lot there. That you have to pay, or you don't get the product, or you don't get the food, or you don't get the health insurance coverage. These are not prices that we want to pay. These are prices that are forced down our throat if we want to survive. That's what we're criticizing here. We got Ben Protect the Capitol Shapiro.
Is not theft, but you stealing that product is in fact theft. You know, like basic human morality. The fact we even have to repeat that shows where we are in American life. Here's Hasan Piker saying you should be able to steal IP, intellectual property.
Yeah, no, I'm pro piracy all the way. Like across the board. Would you pirate a car? Yes. You know, if you could, if one could
pirate a car.
Holy shit, I am 1 billion years old. When she said, what would it mean to pirate a car? When he said it, I immediately you wouldn't download a car, you piece of shit. I knew exactly what he was talking about immediately. She's like, what does that mean? Holy new gen. Oh, dude, I'm 1,000 years old.
It was just a classic thing back in the day. The government funded anti-piracy initiatives would be like, would you steal a car? I'm like, yeah, sure. If I get away with it, if it was as easy as, pirating IP, I would do it.
Stealing's great. Why not pirate it? The answer, by the way, is that no one will make movies if you just pirate their IP.
No one will make movies if we just... by the way, pirating has been huge for like 30, 40 years, okay? So you're saying that that no one's going to make movies if people continue to pirate like they have been for the past 35 years. Nobody's going to make movies. Yeah. Did you know that Ronald Reagan only made 2 movies a year? Because of FDR's policies and because the continuation of FDR's policies and the high marginal tax rate, he just stopped making movies at a certain point. He only made 2 movies a year. Guess who else only makes 2 movies a year? Most actors. It's this, if you just keep on stealing, then they're going to stop. No, they're not. No, they're not. The Hollywood machine cannot be stopped. We need another fucking Shrek.
No one will make things if you just steal those things. And of course, this all culminates in Hasan Piker's justification of murder. That's what he is doing. He's not in favor of murder, you see, but he totally understands why United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was murdered.
He's not in favor of murder. He's just understanding why Brian Thompson was killed. Do you not understand? Do you not understand that social murder is real? That when people have their healthcare denied, if they can even afford it, they have their healthcare claims denied by these companies who they pay exorbitant amounts to. They have their claims denied. Those costs don't disappear. They are financially bankrupt or they are dead. So you're telling me that you don't get that? You don't understand? Okay, you don't get it?
Like he wouldn't himself be in favor of murder because that's even beyond stealing. Like one of the 10 commandments, like okay, but like 2, I don't know.
One 10 commandment, sure, but two commandments, I'm not sure about that. Okay, you want to talk about commandments? Let's check these out. Number 1, you shall have no gods before me. Okay, that's really, really interesting because I hear MAGAs all the time saying, Trump is God. Trump is Jesus. Trump is the next best thing. You don't have any problem with that? Okay. You shall not make for yourself a carved image. Basically, idolatry. Trump the other day posted himself as Jesus on Orthodox Easter. Not a peep? Nothing? Okay. Let's see. You shall not commit adultery. That's number 7. So, Trump cheating on all of his wives? Not a peep? Nothing to say there, Ben? Okay. Interesting. Didn't think so, to be honest.
Okay, but also, wasn't the real murderer Brian Thompson? Wasn't he the real murderer, says Hasan Piker?
Engels wrote about the concept of social murder. And Brian Thompson, as the United Healthcare CEO, was engaging in a tremendous amount of social murder, the systematized forms of violence, the structural violence of poverty, the for-profit paywalled system of healthcare in this country. And the consequences of that are tremendous amounts of pain, tremendous amounts of violence, tremendous amounts of deaths. And that was a fascinating story for me, because Americans are very draconian about crime and punishment. They're very black and white on this issue. And yet, because of the pervasive pain that the private healthcare system had created for the average American, I saw so many people immediately understand why this death had taken place.
Permission structures for murder. Permission structures for murder. Of course, I understand why people were so okay with a man being murdered, because, of course, it's just social violence if you're the head of an insurance company.
Once again, where's the lie? We just went over this. That is social violence. That is social murder. Ben can't dig any deeper. Ben can't think past his gigantic eyebrows. He can only offer the most surface level critique without actually engaging with the deeper point. Social violence is actual violence. It's just legal. Hope this helps.
It's social violence. And in fact, if you're, working in the capital markets, that's also social violence. And turns out everything Hasan Piker doesn't like is social violence. And social violence justifies real violence, actual violence, obviously. It excuses it. He can pretend he's not excusing it as much as he wants. That's, of course, exactly what he is doing. That's exactly, and of course, he has no problem doing that in general. They're some of his greatest hits.
Any kind of Zionist tendency should be treated in the same way as being a rabid neo-Nazi.
Hezbollah is a paramilitary organization that is also a part of the Lebanese parliament.
Do we like them or no?
I think as a resistance group, they're pretty successful against Israel.
I don't have any sort of patriotism in my heart for America, but just in general.
Liberals, you need to be showing your opponent's guts on there, okay? You need to be gutting them. You need to be shanking these and letting their intestines just ride on stage.
You have 1950s Soviet-era building blocks next to the Gucci store. If there was ever a country that represented the synthesis, the things that I enjoy so much personally.
That guy. That's the one they're mainstreaming.
No, Ben, you're mainstreaming him by playing his highlight reel. You're mainstreaming him. Half of these people who watch your show, who watch mainstream media, who watch, have never even heard about Hasan. You are mainstreaming him. Barbra Streisand, look it up.
By the way, his ideology is already mainstream. It is. And here he is with his ideological buddy, his ideological twin, Zoran Mamdani, on his show.
Gangsters, my motherfucking boys right here. Here's two unbelievably cool socialist motherfuckers looking cool as shit, having a meal. Oh, look how bad this is. My bushy brows are just jumping off of my forehead. I can't stop.
And then, of course, he's been on with other ideological friends like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. Again, these are all of his friends. And by the way, Zoran Mamdani is the same ideologically as Hasan Piker. They are exactly the same. Nothing Hasan Piker says is radically different from anything Zoran Mamdani says. And Zoran Mamdani is now the mayor of New York.
You mean America's mayor? He's America's mayor. He's my mayor. He's your mayor.
Here is Zoran Mamdani, and you might notice his language is pretty reminiscent, actually, of Hasan Piker's language. Here's some of Mamdani's greatest hits.
How many more New Yorkers will you detain? How many more New Yorkers without toys? Do you believe in the First Amendment?
We will redirect city funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores, whose mission is lower prices.
But we will not be ashamed of using government to fight for the many, not simply the few.
If ICE does not have a judicial warrant signed by a judge, you have the right to say, I do not consent to entry, and the right to keep your door closed.
We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
When the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's been laced by the IDF.
Do you still believe in democratic socialism? Do you still think it can be effective?
I believe in it even more than I did the day before.
That's just smarmy Hasan Piker right there.
Are you sure you're right wing? You're doing like left wing propaganda at this point. You're making these motherfuckers look cool as shit. Playing their fucking highlight reels. Playing great points that they've made across time. Are you sure you're with the right wing? Like, you're doing work right now. Ben Shapiro bought by the communist George Soros regime over here.
Okay, and here, just a couple of days ago, was Barack Obama hanging out with Mamdani and singing to the kiddies. Okay, this is a picture of the former president of the United States and the so-called ideological thought leader of the Democratic Party sitting with Zoran Mamdani. This is all fully mainstreamed in the Democratic Party. There are some jazz hands. The jazz hands of theft and excuse making for terrorism and murder.
There are some jazz hands, the jazz hands of communism. Those are basically Karl Marx's hands doing jazz hands. The jazz hands of Islamic jihad. Bro, calm the fuck down. 17 minutes of Ben Shapiro, that's as much as I can do. If you're watching on YouTube, you can get the full show over on Patreon. That's Ultragoodproductions on Patreon. Full show, no ads. Throw a little support my way. You can join for as little as $1. But if you don't want to fuck about with Patreon and all that, just leave a like here, subscribe, maybe leave a comment. It really helps push us in the algorithm so that more people can find the show. Do me a favor and send the show to your MAGA dad. Let's get his cortisol spiking. Send it to your liberal mom. Send it to your Marxist-Leninist friends. They're going to love this shit. And if you did enjoy the show today, you can support me through the links in my bio. You can join over on Patreon. Like I said, full show, no ads. It's not going to be split up like it is over here on YouTube. You get to watch the whole thing. We got the PayPal in the link tree. We got the Ko-Fi in the link tree. Every single bit goes to support 100% people-powered, people-centered, free speech, ultra-good, independent media. So thank you so much. And if you do send some support my way, we will shout you out on the next one. So don't miss it. That's it for now, YouTube audience. Head over to Patreon. Anyway, see ya.